Alex, where are you? I know you have to come downstairs. Oh. You're so prepared.
I am prepared.
For our reading, affirmation, and treatment, and a nice, probably, power talk from our man here,
Maybe.
AlexRobertHolmes.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I am AlexRobertHolmes. Am I on? Am I doing good? All right. It's usually me doing this stuff, so who knows? I do look spiffy. Thank you. Thank you. That deserves applause. I think it does. I think it does. So this is the fourth time I've been up here on a Sunday and taken the podium, and Reverend James has let me speak. And it's also the third time he's been absent. He is watching online. He said, "Let them know I'm not in a hot tub. Already went to the gym, and now I'm getting my spiritual food." So he might be texting during this talk. Just letting you know. So, because I told him, if you're not going to, nice outfit. Just what I wore last week. This is going to be fun, everybody. But I told him, like, why are you gone every time I'm talking? He's like, I don't know. It's like, well, that just gives me free rein to make fun of you while you're not here. And he said, I'll be watching. He's like, that's not going to stop me. That's for you, buddy. So, anyway, I will refrain as much as possible as making fun of our dear Reverend James. So, what I want to talk about, back when I was 25, when I was starring as Riff on Broadway in West Side Story, Jerome Robbins said to me, and that is what you get, sir. Anyway. I've actually turned my phone on, so you might hear a ding. I'm hoping it'll work. Brilliant. Anyway. Right, I mean, it's just like he's giving me notes. All right. So, about a month ago, I flew back to Minnesota, and where I'm from, because my grandfather passed away. And it sucked everything right out of the room. It's like laughing, and now we're down at the bottom. But this is what I want to talk about today. Three things you need to know about my grandfather. He was a photographer in World War II, and was a photographer for the St. Paul Pioneer Press. He literally had to dangle out of planes to take pictures out of wreckages of the bombs that were dropped. So, crazy. Brilliant photographer, though. Number two, he was hilarious. I always did the same jokes over and over, but they were always funny. You know, you knew him by rote, and he would do them in the same orders. Like, I'll give you half what the Pope gave me. Right? This is hilarious every time. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lutherans are in second place. Do you have 2 tens for this 5? Yeah. And our favorite one was, look, I can take my thumb off. Wait, I can do it behind my back. It was great. Thirdly, all he did was give. I'll give you a couple examples of that. My parents had to buy an extra freezer to put in the basement because every time he'd go to the grocery store, he'd go to the meat section and he'd find a 2-for-1 sale. If it was steaks, if it was ribs, if it was lamb, if it was chicken, if it was fish. But he wouldn't just do two for one. He would do 10 for 5. And then he would give 9 to my parents and then take 1 home. Usually the smallest one. And all he asked for in return was cook him dinner, basically, which I think was easy. And the second example I'll give you is about a couple years ago, Alex Nussey, Doug and Sharon's niece, came home with me to Minnesota to meet my family. She survived. And but we went out to lunch with my grandfather, and I warned her, you're going to get you're going to get all of it. So it's going to happen. And it did, by rote. There it was. And then he hands me an envelope, and he handed her an envelope. And mine said Alex, and hers said B.A. And she looks at me, and she's like, what is B.A.? And then he says, well, he's Alex, but you're beautiful, Alex. He was very charming. It's where I get it from. And she opens up the envelope, and it's a $100 bill. Someone he had never met before. Gave her $100. And she was just in awe. She said, why did he give this to me? I can't take this. And I said, A, yes, you can. And B, he's giving it to you because he's saying thank you for making my grandson happy. Which is just the kind of person he was. So a month ago, we had a service for him, and it was a beautiful service. It was over at a Lutheran church that he frequently attended, and Pastor Bonnie gave a great sermon. They talked about light. You know, he was a photographer, so he knew how to manipulate light to get the exact picture he wanted, to reflect it, to absorb it, you know, and so they talked a lot about that. And I sang Hands of Grace. My mother asked me to sing, and one of the hardest things I had to do, because like I'm not getting through this talk right now, I couldn't get through the song either. But as a lot of us know, that song has a break in it for a treatment. And I asked my mom if I could treat for my grandfather the way I would. But we decided against it. We did, because we weren't sure how it would, on the ears that it was going to fall on, how it would be accepted, and it wasn't about that at that time. So I just said, I said a beautiful little thing, like, you know, his light shines eternally. I mean, it was very, you know, I mean, my family knows who I am, and some people were worried, like, he's not going to go up there and do the thing, is he? But there was last Christmas, last time I saw him, last Christmas, they asked me to say grace over the food when we had Christmas dinner. And I did, and I said, as long as I can do it in the way that I do it. And my grandfather said, wouldn't have it any other way. And afterwards he came to us. That was one of the most beautiful prayers I've ever heard in my life. So today, I get to pray for him. Yeah. Today I do. And here's the thing about light. Light doesn't go out. Light travels. All right, you take a flashlight, shine it up into the heavens, you turn it on, you turn it off, the light's out. The source is out. The light is traveling. The light is expanding. It is engulfing this infinite universe, and that is exactly what my grandfather is. He is light. He knew how to manipulate it, exactly how he wanted it to be pictured out. And that is exactly what he's doing now. He took his light with giving love, with giving life, with giving laughter, and it is still happening because he is expanding on his journey. Yes, his vessel here on this plane of existence is out, but he continues to expand, and I wanted to scream that up on that altar that day. But it didn't matter because everybody knows that. Everybody there knew that. Because at that service, there was hundreds of people that I had never met. 32 years of knowing this man. He's had 87 years of knowing people, and there were hundreds of people that just came because they knew him, and they loved him, and they made him laugh, and he made them laugh. We had to make a special trip to one of his favorite restaurants, to a Chinese restaurant called Ho Ho Gourmet. It was a buffet. He loved it. He loved eating all the wings and everything. You'd get there early because he knew exactly when they were going to bring more out. But we had to go there, and the minute we walked in, the waitress was like, "Where's Grandpa? Where's Grandpa?" And we had to tell her that he wasn't coming back. And she was so sad and so devastated. She just sat down and started crying. And this is the impact that he had on people. Just everyday people. He would make them happy. He would make them smile. He gave his love. No matter what, no matter who, no matter when, no matter how, he gave. He always gave. If it wasn't money, if it wasn't food, if it wasn't meat, it was his love. And it was always his love. This was my grandfather. So Ernest Holmes writes, if one will have faith in himself, faith in his fellow men, in the universe and in God, he will be able to see that all is good, and the light shed by this faith will light the way for others. And the last thing I'll share is that before we closed the casket on the visitation, my 13-year-old cousin, Matthew, my grandfather's first great-grandchild, walked up to the casket, took a dollar bill, folded it so you could see George Washington. He put it in his suit coat pocket, and he said, "Everybody needs a George Washington," which is something he always said to us. It was just, "Here, you need a George Washington." Or before I'd fly home to California, he's like, "Here, buy everyone a water on the plane." And he'd give me $1. But for my cousin's final act with my grandfather, he gave back to him. And what that says to me, and the light shed by this faith will light the way for others. So it is time for me, I don't know about you, you can make your decisions, but for me to follow in his footsteps, to live the example that he was. He taught a great lesson, and he didn't teach it, he didn't preach it, he just lived it. So it's time for me to live love and give love. And what will I receive? I'm going to receive love. I'm going to receive what I put out there. He never gave to receive. He just gave, and he got what he got. But my grandfather taught me a great lesson, which was there is never a wrong time to give. Never a wrong time to give, especially if you're giving love. So my affirmation for the day is, I give my love, and I let my light shine. You say that with me? I give my love, and I let my light shine. I give my love, and I let my light shine. So right now, what I know in this beautiful moment, that there is one power, there is one light, there is one love, there is one laughter, and that is my grandfather. Because he is God. So am I. So are all of you. So is every single thing in this entire universe that is now being engulfed by the light that is my grandfather, that is us, that is God. And there is no denying that. So I take that knowing, and I just know that this is what we do. This is who we are. We just be this light. We just are this love. We just become this engulfment of joy, happiness, everything. And we reach it out to the ends of the universe, which have no end. So we are infinite in expansion in love. I take that knowing and I say thank you. And I say I love you. Because that's what it is. It's all love. It's all good. It's all God. It's all thanks. And when we give thanks, we get thanks. When we give love, we get love. It's as simple as that. So thank you. Thank you, Grandpa Roy. Thank you, Reverend James Mellon, for letting me talk about this today. Thank all of you for listening. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. So I take those words, I release them into the universe as I know they're so, undoubtedly so. And I let them be. And together we say, and so it is. I'm going to say, everybody, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Great. Say. I look better in that shirt. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You did your grandfather proud. That was beautiful. Thank you, is what James said. Thank you.
And I want to say that if I'm ever half as inspirational as you just were, that is the day I will deserve the title minister.
Thank you. Thank you.